Welcome back to my channel. My name is Chucky, also known as CurlyBoyChuck. Let's get right into it. My DNA. So last year I actually did an analysis of my DNA comparing Ancestry DNA, 23andMe, as well as MyHeritage. And that was a cool video. But I wanted to dive back into my Ancestry DNA specifically because the database has grown so much and there have been some changes to my DNA, and I wanted to give you guys the update version of my DNA. Now I know some of you may be thinking, well, wait a minute, if it keeps changing, then does that mean that it's not accurate? Contrary. So what Ancestry DNA does is they actually test your DNA compared to other people's DNA around the globe, literally around the globe. And as more people get tested, the database grows and the accuracy gets better and it gets tighter. So that's why you will see some changes to your DNA. It doesn't mean that it's inconsistent. It means that it's getting stronger, it's getting more accurate, it's getting more consistent, and they are tying you down more precisely to specific regions of the world that your DNA is linked to. So it's actually pretty exciting whenever I see updated results because it means that it is more accurate than it was when I first did my DNA. And by the way, I did my DNA originally way back in 2016. I did a video doing my DNA, and my DNA has changed. I don't want to say drastically, but there definitely were some changes to my DNA from that original video to today. So I want to get into my updated DNA test results and give you my full breakdown. Now, full disclaimer, I am a Puerto Rican boy, which pretty much just means that I'm mixed. If you know anything about Latin culture or Latin people, whether you're Puerto Rican, Dominican, Mexican, Cuban, whatever it is, those aren't races, those are just ethnicities slash nationalities. However, as far as our genetic makeup, we are mixed people. Very mixed people. So you're gonna find results that are gonna vary depending on region, depending on the family history, and all that good stuff. So just keep that in mind. All right, now let's get into my updated results. So I'm gonna go from the highest all the way down to the lowest. So my highest percentage of DNA comes from the country of Espanol, Spain. I am 34% Spanish, which doesn't really shock me because as we know from history, the Spanish were the ones who colonized the Caribbean, and yeah. So I'm not shocked that I have that blood in me. Second is going to be 17% Portugal or Portuguese. Now Spain and Portugal, I kind of see them as one country. I know they're not one country. Don't come for me in the comments. I know they are two different countries. However, they are literally in the same region together. They're just like a small little border that, you know, separates Portugal from Spain, but they pretty much are the same landmass. So I'm not shocked that my DNA is kind of mixed in with Portuguese as well. And combined with Spanish, I'm actually 51% Spanish and Portuguese if you combine them together, which is a huge chunk of my European DNA, which is kind of crazy. So I guess I am Spanish, even though we don't like that term in New York because, you know, as a Puerto Rican, we're not really Spanish. We're more mixed, but 51%, that's pretty high. Third up in my DNA results is going to be Indigenous Puerto Rico. And I'm 17% Indigenous Borinquen. That makes my heart sing. It really does. So I'm super enthused by this. So as most of you guys know, Puerto Rico used to be inhabited by the Arawak Indians or the Taino Indians. Now this particular tribe used to live in the Amazon area in South America. Many of them migrated upward to the Caribbean. They migrated to Jamaica, Haiti, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico. The entire Caribbean was filled with Taino Indians, but unfortunately, due to colonization, many of them were killed off. Many of them died from diseases, from genocide, and you know the rest. And there was always this kind of myth that Taino Indians died out back in, you know, the 18th century, and that there really were none left, and there was no Taino blood in modern day Puerto Ricans. But I'm here to say that is a lie, because I got 17% of that blood running through my veins. Fourth up, as far as my highest DNA, is going to be Cameroon, Congo, and Western Bantu peoples, and I am 9%. That is in West Africa, in case you're wondering. Now, obviously, as a Puerto Rican, I already know that our genetic makeup is going to be Spanish, Portuguese, Taino Indian, Native American, and West African. That usually is the makeup of most Puerto Ricans. Now, as far as the percentages, they tend to vary depending on the family history, Some Puerto Ricans have a lot of African blood, some have a lot of European blood. In my family, we tend to be more on the European side. However, we still got some Taino, as you saw, and some African blood. So I'm claiming my African and my Taino blood. Don't get it twisted. Now, the rest of my DNA is really, really low from every other region of the world. It's literally 4%, and then it goes down to 3%, and then 2%, and then the rest is just 1%. So I'm going to give you that breakdown as well. And of course, that still makes up my genetic makeup, but it's not as high or as prevalent as the other top 4 that I just showed you. So I am 4% Nigerian, 3% Basque, I think I'm saying that correctly, and that is in Spain. I am 3% France, 2% Senegal, 2% North Africa, 2% Wales, 2% European Jewish, 1% Northern Italy, 1% Mali, and 1% Balkans. Wow, a lot of 1%, a lot of 1%. And that's pretty cool, man. Like, I absolutely love the idea of my whole full genetic makeup kind of being on display like this. Like, it's pretty amazing. I am 63% European. Now, some people will take the North African that I have, that 2%, and they'll add that to the European, because a lot of people believe that many North Africans migrated and took over Spain at one point, called the Moors. And so a lot of Spanish people have that Northern African blood in them as well from centuries ago. People consider that part of the European, not really. It's not sub-Saharan African because it's in North Africa. But it's still a part of the African continent, but it's also a part of the European blood. So it's kind of weird. So I don't know. I think I'm 63%. Some would say I'm 65% because of the North African, so it's kind of interchangeable. So that is my genetic makeup. I love my blood. I love the fact that every part of me comes from different parts of the world. And one pretty cool thing as well that I was thinking about, so I have Native American blood in me. We all know they went through the genocide of colonization. I have African blood in me, which we know they went through the transatlantic slave trade and slavery, which was horrendous. And I also have European Jewish blood in me, and we know that they went through the Holocaust. So I was thinking, wow, I have ancestors that went through genocide, that went through slavery, and that went through the Holocaust. And they survived, which is why I'm here today. And the fact that I have that blood in me makes me feel so absolutely proud. And also, I have no excuses. I have no excuses in today's world. I cannot give up. I can't complain because my ancestors literally went through hell and back just so I can be here. So, thank you, ancestors. I love you. And that is it. That is my updated DNA test results from Ancestry DNA. I'm also working on my family tree. I was able to find an ancestor all the way back in the 1600s. Yes, the 17th century, which is insane. So I am working on a video where I'm going to show you guys how I was able to go that far back on my family tree. In case you are trying to do your own family tree, I have some tips and tricks, things that I did to find relatives that I did not know existed. It definitely was amazing, and my family tree has grown so much from all the research that I have done on Ancestry DNA, and I will share that in a future video, so be on the lookout for that. Let me know in the comments down below if you've had your ancestry done and what your genetic makeup is. I'm so curious. And also let me know if you've used any of the other DNA test sites like 23andMe or MyHeritage. I'm definitely interested. If you enjoyed this content, please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit my notification bell so you know when I post a new video. Until next time, keep it curly and always keep it healthy. Peace.